Hello everybody, Trekkie here with another episode of Trekkie Plays Minecraft, episode 23. Today, we will start on the grand city of whatever the hell its name ends up to be, and we're going to start with the town center and work our way out from there. So last episode, we were searching for the robust Twilight Oak sapling so that we could create a big tree as the centerpiece of our town. I figure a big tree like one of those giant Twilight Oaks would be a very commanding presence for the town center. And this will allow us to build, like decorations up the side of it, build a bit of a mob thing in the middle. Mob thing. And I forgot one key component to this, and that is bone meal. Now, we could sit here all day and wait for the thing to grow manually, but I don't think that'll be the point. I don't think that'll be necessary. Excuse me. Wow. Anyways, I've actually turned off these spawners. I flew up there and I put levers on top. It's pretty dangerous, but I managed to do it. And now my golems are just sitting around bored. Hello, golems. They don't give a damn. They're enjoying their break. Which is good because I have tons of bones. I don't need any more bones. That's for sure. Or arrows. I don't even use a bow, so the arrows really don't serve me any purpose whatsoever. Bigger figured it couldn't hurt to have them. And you may wonder, how did I fly up there? Well, last episode I also found the fly spell. So I just right click, jump like you would in creative if you're on the ground, and you can fly. It has a limited duration. I have flight 2 since I don't have augmented spells yet. But it lasts pretty good, and you could right click as you're still flying and it'll reset the duration. So these are my ender pearls. So all I did is basically I flew up here. Oops, there's no lid. See, I attached levers on top and turned them off because it was just getting ridiculous. So that way, this way I can just fly up here anytime and turn them on and off as needed. Hello, son. You're back. Let's tell him a good old joke. Yeah, I'm glad you liked it. Anyways, onward. Also found some cool other spells. I've been trying to search for that mage tower left and right. Been flying. I've done about a 4K an 8K by 8K circle around my base. Well, a circle, square, whatever you prefer. And it's just been utterly terrible. I don't want mine to be. I don't want the Twilight Oak to be right against the sea. I want some space for docks. So, let's see what we could do. Right here seems to be a good spot as any. Let's plop it down. Get ourselves some bone meal. Right click it and get the hell out of Dodge. Not the tallest one I've ever grown, that's for sure. This is actually a pretty short and stubby one, by all means. Let's have a look at it. Now that we can fly around a little bit. Yeah, it's a relatively short and stubby structure, isn't it? Usually they're a lot taller than that, but look at that tree. That's just amazing. I love those things. Twilight Forest adds the best trees to the game, in my personal opinion. One thing I definitely want to do is get rid of these cicadas, or however they're pronounced properly. The thing is, it's not that I don't like them. I think they're pretty awesome, in fact, but the noise they make lags me. Like, if you try to go away from it, they get all kind of slow down. It's because, I don't know, it's something that have to do with the sound. If you try to move away from a sound bit, it lags me terribly. Now I get stuck with low frame rate for a few minutes. Chickens, like loads of chickens are also a problem. Lava. Quick sounds like well, probably can't hear it, but like hitting dirt or anything, like something that's real quick. it doesn't bother because the sound bit ends quickly. But if the sound bit is still going while you're moving away from it, at least for me, it lags me terribly. So the cicadas or however they're pronounced have to go. I'm sorry. They're pretty awesome though. Make sure they're all gone. They're all over these trees. I'll collect them. When I first played Twilight Forest, they didn't. You couldn't actually remove them. Well, you could remove them, but you couldn't place them. Every time you placed them, you would get the lightning bugs. I think that's all of them. So that should. So we got the focal point of our entire city. If that's not a commanding presence, I don't know what is. That's a pretty big tree. It's like I guess in real life, an equivalent would probably be the giant redwoods, sequoias, or whatever. Yeah, they're pretty. These are pretty big trees. Now inside these trees are usually hollow, and I got to be careful with my axe so I don't start chopping down the outside of it. I'm going to remove these outside things for now. I'll re-add them later, but for now we're going to do some construction. What I plan to have in the middle of this is a Ars Magica essence nexus for items. And what happens is when the items fall into the nexus, it'll gather. It's like kind of like power, if you can think of it like that, kind of like IC2 power. If you have like a solar panel on it, it'll collect power. Well, that's what the essence nexus does. There's several different kinds, and it'll gain their power from different means. But the one we're going to use is from items. What we're basically going to do is put a skeleton spawner room up on the top of the tree, kind of like nestled in there, and the outside will look like a building. And they'll fall down, they'll die. I'll keep an iron golem down here just in case. And it'll pick up the items and convert it to energy. And then we could use that energy for Ars Magica things throughout the town. So in true Trekkie style, I like to have something that's aesthetically pleasing, but it also has a purpose. So let's get over here to our handy dandy chest of. Actually, it doesn't really have anything in it right now. And I didn't bring the spawner or anything, but that's okay. We don't have to worry about that right now. What we need to focus on doing is getting the things. We're going to need 4 of these. And we're going to need some bricks. Stone bricks. And if y'all don't know how to make stone bricks, you're probably watching the wrong series because I'm not here to. I have really no desire to explain it. So we're going to go into our tree. I'll carve out some holes on all sides just for. What is that annoying noise? Anyways. Yeah, that's just, a tad bit annoying. Okay. So the Nexus itself will require a 3x3 area, and you got to put the little totems on the outside of that. So if you think this is the center, you go count 2 in every direction, because you want this 3x3 space to be free, and on the corners is where the totems go. So really on the other side, right here. So for the essence one, the item nexus, you want to put 2 stone and a circular brick, or chiseled brick, or whatever you would like to call it. I'll call it the circle stone on every corner. Because on the next, see, it's on the corner, 3x3, and on the other side of this, diagonally would be this. So once you put that, so now that's on all sides. You grab your handy dandy blue chalk, which is for this particular, and you just right click in the middle. Maybe this is in the way. Something actually, is it just these? Okay, let's try it again. Ah, yeah, it's probably just the vines. And you can tell it's working because it's circular. It's circulating. And this will accept items. So if I were to throw, say, it'll take out, zap them, and it'll form energy in here. And I don't actually have the Sense Energy spell. I'll be right back when I have it so I can show you exactly how this works. Alright, got my Sense Energy spell. Let's go over here on the open side. If you right click it, as you can see, the detected essence is how much it has in it. It has 0% of its total capacity. These things hold a lot. The item ones is about, I think, 1.2 million. And as you can see, the detected deficit is 0. Deficit occurs as more as it, throws power along the line. Hold on one second. I'm back. Sorry about that. I'll talk about deficit in a minute. So as you can see, we have 400. If I were to throw like these 3 cooked chickens, it will zap them and add to our total bit. So when items go in here, they get turned into power, essentially. Now, how do we get power from this item to devices that it could use? Well, we have our first bit of item is called the essence conduit. These are basically the power lines, the industrial craft pipes, as it were, that transfer power around. And they can go up to a certain distance, so let's put a couple in a row. So basically, power will be transferred from the nexus to this, to that, to that. I don't know if there's a distance limit. Oh, I have a 4th one, so let's put the 4th one down. And for them to gather power at all, you could right click them. They'll have stuff you could put in them later, but we ain't gonna worry about that right now. To basically increase their efficiency or transfer power, basically. And we got one of our items here that you could use for Ars Magica. It's called a Kale Factor. So if you put it on the end of the line, as you can see, power is starting to zap through. Each one of these items have like a little bit of a internal buffer of power storage. Power storage. Wow, that was terrible. And the thing I like about this is it looks like a magical power line. So what I'm going to do in the city is I'm going to have a bunch of these going down the street, maybe up on something, and it's going to be like my town has like power lines, magical power lines. And as they transfer power, I guess I have to have my sense energy. As you can see, the deficit is now 5, and it'll keep building as it transfers power. This is not something you want. This is equivalent to power buildup, and eventually they'll explode. It's not going to increase very much right now, but over time it will. This one's 4, so since it's further down the line. I don't know if it builds up on the Nexus or not. See, this one has 7. They'll slowly raise. And this has 0. I guess that don't get deficit. I don't know how that works. But there is an item you could make to alleviate this fact, and it's called a crystal pillar. It's kind of like the companion cube for these essence conduits. You just place it right next door, and well, it stopped taking power over there because it's full, but as you can see, it went back down to 0. Of course, if it's not pulsing power, I think it'll also lower. But these things will prevent it from building up too much deficit or any deficit at all. So you're definitely going to want to use these in tandem. These require a diamond to make, so pretty expensive. So you got to be definitely careful with that. Okay, we got our Kale Factor down here. Let's have a look at it. It's basically a forge, or like a forge, or a furnace. There you go. You put in items in it, and it cooks them. So you see little flames flowing magically toward the center, and it'll smelt them. Stone. Yeah, simple enough. Nothing really too complicated about that. And since we could relocate power all over town to these things from one central point, they'll come in handy. They don't double your ore output or anything like you might, like a, macerator or anything like that, but they can come in handy if we need to smelt anything or cook anything and we're in a random location in town. So these are going to be all over the place. And there's a couple other devices that are pretty useful as well, that will have power zapping all around, and it's going to be pretty neat. It's going to be pretty neat, I think. So now we just need to provide these things with a steady source of power. And, well, we got one easy way to do that. I got a tier 5 skeleton spawner. And it's going to be ripe for our needs here. It's going to be ripe for our... because they're going to fall, they're going to die. Their bones and stuff is going to fall into this and get turned into power. So we should never have any shortage of power. So see, our central town is also acting as a power plant. A magical power plant for the rest of our town. Isn't that pretty cool? I've been thinking about that for quite a while, having a magical bit, and then we get to do it in our tree. So, aesthetically pleasing, yeah, I can't talk today, I'm sorry. And of course this is done. Now this you could have upgrades and make it smelt faster, use less power, or store more power, I guess. But yeah, pretty cool devices, and you don't require anything special to break them. You just, or at least not yet, just plop them down. I guess they store their power even after you break them. That's pretty cool. Here, that we ran out of power in the Nexus. Yeah, we ran out of power in the Nexus. Okay, that's why it wasn't pumping any more power. We'll worry about that later. Like I said, right now we're just gonna get things started. I've brought quite a combination of blocks over here. Mostly we're going to be using a lot of stone bricks. It's the center of town. They're not using cobble, they're using fancy stone bricks. We got more of our fancy timber frames and such. Some glass for glass panes. And yes, I know you all know how to make glass panes. I'm just making a few for right now. So let's get some more stone bricks. Gonna need plenty of them. I guess that I should have my skeleton shard with me, but I'll go get it later. Actually, another thing I want to make before we go off that way. Oh, and I got our beacon. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go up in the tree. I'm gonna build this. Ooh, excuse me. Dang. I'm gonna build a spawner room. Get that ready because we've already done it once for this tower, so there's no point taking the whole episode to do it again. So I'm going to get that ready, the spawner room ready, and I'll be back. Alright, so I've finished the room, and it's the actual spawner distance that I chose actually puts it really nicely inside the tree. Right upon the leaves, so it's like the branches are holding up the room itself. And with all the lights, it kind of gives a nice glow inside the tree. I think it really looks nice. So, and I really didn't have to do anything particularly special about it. Just some regular stone, brick, some upside down stairs, some more of that fancy cross. What is the hell is this shit called anyway? Cross timber, and some of the trees' own wood. So let's get in there. Let's finish up the spawn system itself. It's just starting to be night, but that's okay. I removed all the vines so the skeletons don't get slowed on the way down. I made that mistake when I was testing out these trees in creative. So first let's put our signs down to keep the water from, flooding the basement, as it were. It's exactly a 30 block drop, so every skeleton should die with no problem. We don't want any of them alive. There's no experience gathering or anything coming from this tree. This is pure for power generation. And the bonus about that is we don't have to worry about putting pressure plates here or anything to keep them from jumping up right before the fall, because it doesn't matter. We want them dead. So I got some water buckets, 3 out of 4. Let's put these at the corner. Wait. Hold on. Let's get the spawner positioned first. Spawner thing, so it's a little bit easier. And I'm going to keep the lights in here to give some ambience to the outside leaves. You can't really see anything because of all these leaves, so it's not a big deal. Anyways, as I was saying, let's get our... Actually, let's get flat. Oh, I forgot. The water will go up over it, which means they won't drop down. We're going to need a few more signs. Not a terribly difficult feat. You just put signs on top of other signs. and it'll stop them. But I'm going to go ahead and put the water in the corners anyway, for better or worse. Get my fly on so I don't splat all over the ground when I go down. Whee! And the water doesn't even affect the... Nexus at all, so that's good to know. Hey man, jump! Oh, you didn't do it. Okay, spell cast. Oh, lightning. Yeah, I don't mess with those guys. Those guys could take it down really quick. Boom. It's actually chain lightning. It's just that there's no groups of creatures around for me to, well, chain lightning. Oh, I need one more of these. Okay. No more to suck us around. Let's get some more signs. Yeah, I know. Tedious bit. Part of every build, though. So I got one down. I think I'm going to need exactly one more sign. So let's get that. Let's drop off sickly twilight oak sapling. Those are what you get if you try to break the leaves on these big trees. You'll never get the robust ones which actually grow these big trees. Let's see if I can't do it now that's a bunch together. It actually has a pretty good range, this chain lightning. See, I could get them all. Alright, let's get back up there. Up, up, and away! Beat me up, Scotty. I guess would be a more appropriate term. Alright, before I go and put this last corner in, I'm going to give myself a stable footing. Jesus, Trekkie, learn how to speak English. Doesn't matter how pretty they look. I got that one in the side here. There we go, completely blocked off. One in the corner. And this will push us toward the middle, or the skeletons. No, it'll push toward the middle. Okay. All we need to do left is get our skeleton shard in there and get the hell out of Dodge. Let's get our fly going so we can get out of here. Toss our thing in and go. And see, it'll start picking up. Some of the items it won't. But yeah, it'll start gathering energy. So let's look at our energy. If I can push the right buttons. 9. See, it'll go up slowly as it collects items. So we now have an Ars Magica power plant. Fully capable of giving us all the power we need over time. But we won't be using the machines all the time, so it'll be sufficient. And of course, this doesn't require us to be near us, like being a tier 5 spawner, so it'll always be running. And of course, they die. Who gives a damn? I fully suspect the guards will be going ape shit over this thing, just like they do any other one. So, yeah, what can you do? What can you do? Actually, I might actually close it off completely. Let's do a little experiment, shall we? Because I don't ever really need to be in there. Is that dirt? Get out of the way, little moth thing. You're preventing my... Can you kill this thing? Guess not. Little bit of an experiment, because I really don't want the guards running there. I mean, they won't get hurt by the Nexus or anything. Uh, but what I'm really... Oh, I don't have them on me anymore. What I'm really curious if it'll pass energy through the solid block. So let's get ourselves... Not a crystal pillar. Where's my conduit and kill factor? Just as a test. Just as a test. We'll see. If so, that's even better. So our conduit and our... Oh. So it actually does power it through a solid wall. So see, that's great, because then we don't have to worry about guards or anything getting in there. Like I said, it won't hurt them, but I really don't want them going all over the place in there. So now we have our basic power generator set up, and I'm gonna break this because I don't want exploding because of deficit. Now we need to worry about the outside. And for that, I have several plans. For one, I wanted to have some kind of like building sticking out of it, sort of like there, but just like here, or maybe like up a little bit and maybe down a little bit on one side, and maybe like a little stairway so you could get up, stairway with balcony, so you could look around over the town, or into the town. This tree isn't exactly as tall as some of the other ones, but that's okay. Can't remove these because it'll stop the nexus, so they have to stay. We may be able to cover them up though. And of course it looks kind of awkward just going up straight into down. So let's add some roots to the whole deal. Where's the specific logs? Here we got Twilight Oak logs. What else do we got? We got nothing. It's raining today. It's been a really miserable day. Either way. That's not the way I want it. See. In keeping with our tradition, these should... Oh, don't want to do that. Because that'll just break out the... that'll break up the entire tree. See, something flew from down there, so I chopped something up there. I always got to shift with this axe, otherwise I'll be tearing down the whole tree. Which would really defeat the purpose of what I'm trying to go for here. Something just doesn't seem... That's because it's this. You know, these... Oh, shit. Just did it again. These should probably be outward. Ah, yeah, that's exactly where I wanted it. Well, I'll worry about doing the things Um, but first I would like to build top down. I can't make roots for shit, can I? Maybe I should just do it the way the tree was doing. I mean, it looked better, but I don't know. We'll see. I'll work about that between episodes, but right now I'm going to set up for our next bit, and I'll be right back. And we're back. I've laid out some standing platforms up there. They're not all finished, but and this will be like a kind of a ramp from the very corners of the town square for them to walk up to, get up into the. Of course, it's not going to be just these logs. No, it's going to be slabs and stuff, so you can just walk forward up it. Kind of like that, and then so on and so forth. And I wanted to keep the wood, like the same wood type, the same log as the tree, so it blends in nicely. And I know I always talk about like giving contrasting colors, but we have plenty of contrasts with the very light planks and the stone bricks and the white timber frames. So across here, which I should probably cut because I don't want these. What I'm going to do, attach our flying, our haxer, as it were. Invert these. So it kind of gives us a rounded edge. 4 high for these. And as you notice, I don't have to hold on to my book. It just puts the buff on me so I can keep it as long as I switch back now and then and right click, I'm fine. Actually, maybe I'll have this on the outside. Yeah, that would be nicer, I think. And I'll have it circulate around as needed. But for now, let's get the... And of course, here's going to be like fencing, so you can come out and look over the city. On the side's going to be some walling. So... I may have to go to the Twilight Forest and cut some more of these. On the edges, as I like to do, the lined timber frames. And the cross ones. I'm going to need more of these cross ones. I'm running pretty low on this. And I'll worry about connecting them as I have everyone set up. So, this would be here. And of course, more of this. And then they'd simply just walk in. From any angle, they could look out. I may have some chairs in here or whatever set up for a little bit of decor. But mostly that's going to be the gist of these lookout stations. And of course there's going to be stuff below and everything. Don't get me wrong, it's not going to stay open like this. But it's definitely a work in progress. Do I have any more of these cross timber frames? Yeah, I do. It's like, I don't know. I don't know if I like the... Well, maybe I do. Who knows? We could always change it as we go, but... Right now we're kind of getting a feel for it. And of course in the corner. That's right, I gotta change this. You do mine slower when you're flying, so it's not a complete boon, but it does help. I will say is I'm so glad I found that spell. And I can say I can fly around legitimately. Ugh. And of course I'll do this all the way around, and then we'll worry about connecting them in such a way that looks nice. Oh, right. And after the spell wears off, you will plummet. So you have to be very careful how high you are. Otherwise, you're just going to smack the ground and die. So yeah, that doesn't look bad at all. Not in my personal opinion, anyways. And of course, well, I have enough to show. There may be a block. And basically what it would do. Actually, that may not even. Oops, shit. That may not even be required. No, that ain't gonna work. I think I like the block there. Whoop! See, there you go. And it'll wrap around. I'll have a little bit of something up from there so it kind of flows more into the tree, and there'll be stuff below. Fountains, decoration. One thing I wanted to do, I have a whole bunch of night tour. I wanted to have a whole bunch, like a night tour just floating in the air around the tree, like lights around the tree, like magical lights. And just to give it like a more of a magical feel, like there's magic floating around this big tree, because it's going to be the only tree of its kind in the entire city. So it's kind of like a big magical tree that everybody flocks around, centerpiece, as it were. Let's see if we can't finish up this incline before the episode over. We'll continue working on this tree next time, of course. There's not going to be no abrupt Yeah, I guess that'll have to do, won't it? And then we just go down, do it all over again. It's an oddball, isn't it? A little bit of a pain to do, but it's going to be a little bit of work in progress, I think, but yeah, I think that'll do. How does it look from a distance? It's kind of an odd. It may look nice. It may look nice. And right here is basically a very rough representation of what the whole thing's going to look like. I mean, stuff doesn't always look nice when you're just getting it built, but I think in the very end, it's going to be a very nice town center. I wanted to have like a kind of like a civilized yet natural feeling, like it's civilization built into nature. That's kind of like the theme for this whole thing, like with the trees around the building over here, and like a lot of the wood and the planks and natural earthy tones. That's kind of going to be the feel. It's like a natural city with lots of magic. So I think that's going to turn out fantastic. What did I come over here for? Oh, that's right. I was going to build a couple fences so we could see them, what they look like on the ends. There are, of course, other fencing options I may use. We shall see. Most of what I like about these is the fact that, if anybody gets up here, like villagers or whatnot, they just won't walk off the edge. Of course, it's pretty high. I don't know if they would anyway. Yeah, definitely, I like it. And I might have a couple vines hanging down from some places just for flavor. But I like this so far. Yeah, definitely looking good. And we will definitely continue this next time. We got a good bit accomplished today. We grew our big old tree. We got our spawn system and our power station set up for Ars Magica, so we could have like magical power lines going all over the city. And of course, we'll have lots of night tours, in the air around the tree to give it a magical feel. And of course, like I said, this is going to be a pretty big town square. On the map, you can see this tree is pretty sizable, and the bottom of this is even on the outside of the tree itself. So yeah, definitely going to look nice. And of course, there's going to be stuff under here. Like I said, that's pretty plain, but one step at a time. One step at a time. Let's keep it at that. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Part 1 of our town center building, as it were. Look forward to more of this, and I hope to see y'all next time. Take care of yourselves.